My name is Nicholas Quigley, and this is Investing for the Average Person. Whenever you're ready. Money has evolved to a point today that makes it extremely easy to invest. The advent of the internet enables anybody with a bank account to really move their money and make it work for them. But people are intimidated by this concept. There's a ton of jargon and pundits that make it very confusing to people, and it leads them to not invest their money when maybe they should. What I will not do here is explain how to pick individual stocks or bonds, although I'd love to. What I will do is explain a simple example using index funds, how somebody can plan out an investment and meet their goal. These terms here, you probably don't need to focus on if you're an average person, if you're not somebody working on Wall Street, for example. These are all for really advanced concepts in investing that you probably don't need to worry about. On the other hand, there are a good amount of terms that you should probably be familiar with, or at least have in your vocabulary a bit to be familiar with investing. But let's move on to a more foundational concept of investing, this idea of risk versus reward. Risk and reward, obviously with more risk, there's more reward, and with less risk, there's less reward as well. And this is the last graph, I promise. A good investment balances both of those. But let's move on to something that's a little bit more delicious. This pie we will use to represent a stock index fund. Now, an index fund is a type of mutual fund that aims to match a market index. A market index is the Dow Jones Industrial Average or the S&P 500. This cucumber we'll use to represent a bond index fund. A bond is a type of government or corporate debt that pays a return over a set amount of time and is generally a little less risky than stocks. We will use Sally, shown here, as our normal average person. She's an American. Like 3 out of every 4 Americans, she has a bank account, and she wants to plan to buy a car. Now, this example using index funds is not exclusive to just a car. It could be for retirement, general saving make for school, really anything. The first step Sally takes is to plan out this investment. She wants a nice balance so she can make a safe investment and diversify her risk. The second step is to save. Many investments require a minimum, and that's partially for the benefit of the investor so that their money is working in the most efficient way for them. So Sally has this allocation of 50% stock index fund and 50% bond index fund. Over the long term, which is what an average person should focus on when they're investing, this will be a very safe investment that doesn't jump up and down a lot with the market. It keeps everything nice and balanced, so over the long term, it's a safe investment for her to meet this goal of a car. Now, what she has to do after she buys this investment is mostly just relax. She shouldn't rebalance this more than every 6 months, and I'll get to that in a second. But she also shouldn't buy or sell based on short-term dips and jumps in market volatility. Every 6 months or so, she may need to rebalance this back to that 50-50 target that she had. If the stock market has a great year and the bond market has a terrible year and it gets to be 60-40, she may want to allocate that back to that 50-50 that she had so she stays on track to meet her goals. Obviously, the last part of this is the most delicious. She gets to devour her investments and drive off into the sunset in her new car. An important note should be made here about capital gains taxes. On any investment, the government taxes them for gains, split up into long-term gains and short-term gains. The long-term gains are investments that are bought and then sold after a year, and short-term is within a year they're bought and sold. Short-term gains are always taxed at a higher percentage than long-term gains. The government is actually incentivizing long-term investing. What I want you to focus on here is just date, savings account, checkings account, account 1, account 2, other ones. If you keep a general ledger of your accounts and update it once a month, you'll be super organized financially, be able to achieve financial security, and have a good basis for investing. One thing that keeps people from investing is this focus on our media and on consumer spending. We have all these companies and advertisements that we're bombarded with that are trying to suck all this money out of our pockets, really for no reason that we probably don't need to spend. If you can try and ignore that and save some, you'll be very financially secure. Jim Cramer and these other pundits are mostly focused on short-term market news. If you're the average person, you should be investing for the long term, and you can largely ignore a lot of this stuff. It's mostly for Wall Street traders. Inflation is another important factor in any investment. This is real currency, or it was. If you're investing instead of just leaving your money in a savings account, you're beating inflation, which actually makes your money worth less. I was inspired to do this. Because I've seen a lot of people squander their money with no idea how to invest. And it's really very simple. Save some money, invest it, and watch it slowly grow. Thank you.